believe.
So call me a man on a mission. I'm guilty by my own admission. Locked up but I break free. No change could ever take me. Can't stop, won't stop, don't stop now.
Welcome. Happy Saturday morning. Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast show. My name's Tony B, and alongside me as usual is my partner in crime, big time David B, straight out of Lebanon, Indiana. Timmy D's. A little under the weather today. We got Hall of Famer Matty Ice filling in today. Today's topics, carrier rankings. Where do they stack up? 2020 to 21 data's out. Number 2, Hurricane Ida. David B's got that. Matty Ice, whatever's on his mind today. Remember, we're just 3 Americans discussing topics that affect the transportation industry. Our views, the views of us 3, are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses a transportation provider. It's just 3 guys with 7 years of experience covering the topics that make the industry that brings us the products that make us happy Americans. Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast show, the number 1 podcast show in the area. You can catch us on YouTube now, Rumble, iTunes, under the business entertainment section, Twitter, and our home base, shipsgonnahappen.com, which is up. And on YouTube, you can
smash the like button and click subscribe. We need those subscribers to get the show out there and to make it as big as we want it to be.
Good morning, David B. How are you doing?
Morning, Mr. Bubnick. Morning, Tony. How are you, buddy?
Doing great.
Saturday morning. My Saturday morning head's going on. So we got Matty Ice filling in today. Always a pleasure to see Matty Ice. So Matty Ice, how did you go to both shows for the Dave Matthews concert? How did that go?
So I did, and so first off, thank you guys for having me on today, because this is a highlight for me for a week when I get to come on here. So guys, appreciate that. And while you guys are blowing up, I mean, I can't turn on anything without seeing something with Ship's Gonna Happen on it. So you guys are obviously blowing this up, and hopefully I can make it be a little small part of it going forward. But to answer your question, on Dave, we went to both concerts. I really only remember one of them.
Imagine that.
It was bad. It was the Friday night show, and we were tailgating, as you have to. So we were tailgating, planned on just drinking beer, all day, and I can typically be just fine just drinking beer. And we had some, and I never, or at least I don't think I've ever met a Greek Orthodox.
Okay.
All right. And I still really don't know what that is, but I will tell you this, these Greek Orthodox people that were beside me, I think they spiked whatever they gave me. I went into the show. I remember the first 3 songs, and then I literally blacked out. I got separated from my group. Don't remember anything. I don't remember anything.
Wow.
I must have been just like wandering the crowd. Must look like something out of some zombie movie, because I don't remember anything.
Damn.
And my wife was texting me. Friends were calling me. I just didn't know. And then finally, I kind of just faded back into reality, and I noticed I had all these missed calls and texts, and I told my wife, I said in a text, I said, I don't know where I'm at. I don't know anything. And so she walked around, and she finally found me and brought me back to the group. And so what I figured out, because the next day I looked at the playlist, you can always see what the playlist was that they played. And from what I figured, I blacked out for like an hour and 15 minutes of that show. So like 41, I don't know if I know you know 41, but that's one of their more famous songs. And it's one that I always enjoy when they play, because typically they always play it when they come, and do not remember it all.
Wow.
Do not remember. It's one of the songs that I missed. And then I kind of got back in my groove, and then I finished the concert pretty strong, but I don't know, maybe I could have been abducted by an alien for all I know. I mean, it could have been that. I really don't know, but they made a few drinks for me, these Greek Orthodox. And, I had never done that. I had never blacked out and then came back. Like I've probably been blackout drunk and then passed out, and then woke up the next day and then was like, well, I don't remember I don't remember past this point, right? I don't remember anything past this point. But I don't ever remember having a point where I was still conscious, blacking out, and then basically turned off and then turned back on. It was weird.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to answer your question, I did physically attend both concerts. I was present for about 1.25 of it.
Right. So, and happy belated birthday to you, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Matty Ice had a birthday earlier this week.
Yep.
And one other question on how you're doing. How's the football season going?
Well, not very well.
Okay. Are you losing your patience, or is it just that...
Well, I always have a running joke when I talk about coaching that I always enjoy coaching, but I wish that I was coaching an orphanage, because then you wouldn't have to deal with
no
parents.
strings attached. Yeah, the parents are the worst.
Parents are by far and away the worst. And so I knew we were going to run into some issues this year, because the commissioner of our league decided that we had 46 kids for 5th and 6th grade. We could have gone with 3 teams and, had 15, 16 kids per team, been able to more easily play the kids, get them playing time. They decided to go with 2, which now we have 23 kids per team. And it makes it very difficult to try to play all the kids and then still be competitive, because you've got basically a lot of haves and have-nots on these teams, which makes sense. It's 5th and 6th grade. It's a rec league. They should be here to have fun. But you're also trying to win. And, you're in a tight game and you're like, well, this kid hasn't played any. I got to get him in there. Yeah. So you're putting him in there. And then, so we have not, we've only played 2 games. We're 0-2. Second game we played, we were a little bit more competitive, but we really don't have a very good team. And then you couple that we have to play a lot of kids, and it's making it very difficult, and I'm getting a lot of chatter from parents, and it's like, I don't get paid to do this. I'm volunteering.
They ruin it. Any
of you could have volunteered to do this job, and I'd be more than happy to hand you the clipboard. You can come down here,
but they won't.
And do it. No, they won't do it.
Yeah.
So no, it's not been real fun so far. We'll see. I think we've probably played our 2 toughest teams this year, so hopefully it's going to get a little bit better. Kids are having fun. So I can't really complain about that part, and I guess that's what's most important.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good to hear.
Nice.
Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, we're glad to have you, man.
Be back on.
And Timmy D's under the weather, and hopefully he'll be feeling a little better, and he may stop by. We'll see. So
he's got the sniffles.
Yeah, so we'll miss him, and hopefully he gets well. You ready to get into it, David? You want to start us off with number 1?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I got a new button here, Matt. Here we go. Let's get into it.
So shooting from the hip today, going to kind of overstate the obvious that, we're going through COVID. We went through COVID and had a bunch of issues, and still having a bunch of issues with transportation. And then earlier this week, Mother Nature decided to step in and say, if you thought things might be getting a little bit more back to normal, she's going to step in and kind of make Hurricane Ida come through and just kind of screw things up even more. So there's some embargoes going on right now, especially down south, Louisiana, and some of those states, of course, as they are, or as they would be with the hurricane. And that's just kind of made shipping even much more tougher. It's been a tough week to kind of land some truckloads. It's been a tough week to get things to where they need to go in a timely fashion. It's just, kind of the way things kind of are.
Yeah.
But that just doesn't help matters at all.
Because it was a unique one, because I think it's one of the few storms like that just hung in that basin area, right, for days. It didn't move, and usually they move on through.
Mm-hmm. And now it's hammering kind of the Northeast, like New York City and over to the east of there. I mean, it's driving. My oldest lives out in New Hampshire, and they're just getting slammed with rain and stuff.
So when you check the truckloads, what do they tell you?
It's just that, they want more than, the rates are starting to go up, and, the capacity is really tight. Drivers aren't wanting to go into a certain area. I'm begging all day to somebody to take it to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it's still not getting moved. I got 2 sack towns for tomorrow that I hope get moved, and one of them was supposed to be yesterday, and it's just tough to get freight moved this week, and it's a little difficult. The hurricane doesn't help matters none.
No, so when they clean that up, when it gets cleaned up and gets through, it'll be backed up, right? And then all the equipment will get sucked down there because they didn't have any equipment. And
yeah. Yeah, we got a load earlier in the week that was supposed to come out of there, and the carrier that was on it is like, what do you need us to do? I'm like, well, you're still on it, so figure it out. I mean, when they tell you that they're able to ship, get it picked up and get it to us. So it's just an unfortunate situation, especially, I mean, the worst part of it is all the people that are getting affected by it, personally affected by it, that, you know, that have lost their homes. And I mean, this is nothing compared to them losing their homes and their livelihood and stuff. And our thoughts go out to those people, but I mean, it's definitely doing a number on the transportation this week. So it kind of sucks.
I was trying to figure out, had there been deaths in this, David? Do you know?
Yeah, I thought I heard 11 people, but
wow.
I'm definitely not 100% sure on that. So, but yeah, so it's just, you know, the hurricanes come through and it's just not been a good week. Moved freight. So,
yeah, I mean,
but this being the holiday weekend, I might have to go in and
move.
Yeah, but I got to get it going.
Yeah,
you know, whatever it takes. So
I didn't think about that because you'd probably play a little catch up from the week, right?
Yes.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane Ida.
Yep. Kind of doing a number.
Yeah, I mean, man. I hope that, remember that one storm that had in the eye of the storm years ago, kind of circled over top Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
And then, because there was a race, I think, a motorcycle race in Indy that got delayed due to that.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and it was weird. You could just see the circle of it above Indianapolis. It's so weird that something like that doesn't break up more over the mountain range coming north.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I wish those people well. Hopefully they all didn't take too much of a hit from it. And you always hear about New Orleans, right? Because they get the levees break there, and they've rebuilt the city. And geez,
is there anywhere? I mean, you think about where just Mother Nature is pretty cruel to different parts of this country, but it seems like between like Houston or maybe like Galveston all the way over to Pensacola. Those areas just get abused. It seems like every year, somewhere in between those 2 points, somebody's getting hit hard. I think last year, it was when the Gulf Shores or Alabama got
Gulf
hit,
Shores
got hit pretty hard.
Been hit a couple times.
It's just all the time. It's just, I would have to think pretty long and hard about living in those areas.
Well,
New Orleans is just such an old city too. Now I think from when they got hit, real hard, back with Katrina, that they've since had a chance to repair a lot of that old stuff that they had going on with levees and whatnot. But it's still a real old town. Yeah. And if you think about it, a lot of that town is below sea level.
Right. It's
just not natural to be living in an area like that. And so when they run into this, it's more catastrophic than it would be, anywhere else.
What was that? Hurricane Katrina?
Mm-hmm.
Was that the one? Yeah.
Have either one of the two of you ever been to New Orleans?
I have not. I'd love to go there sometime.
Not either.
Yeah, I have not either.
How far is it from here?
I don't know.
Can't be that far, right?
Are we taking that show on the road? Getting a sponsor?
Live from the French Quarters.
There we go.
I'd say probably about 700 and some odd miles, I would say.
8-9 hours, maybe? 10 hours?
I'd say it's at least 10.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's a real straight shot. You'd probably have to go down to like
65, right?
65
South.
down to like maybe 10. Is it 10 that goes all the way across the United States
10,
on the
down on the bottom there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then maybe take that across.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a good angle like if you went through like Memphis. I don't know. Maybe there's a way I don't know. I really don't know the geography and the roads that well, but I know I don't think it's real easy to get to.
Yeah, just we're logistics guys, and we can't get you to Louisiana.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't know either.
The food and the music, it got to be phenomenal all the time. So.
Maybe we just fly there.
There we go.
Yeah, that would be the way to go.
An hour trip.
Get the Ship's Gonna Happen private jet out.
There you go. Yeah. Yep. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yep.
But man, glad to have you guys here this Saturday morning, man. It's summer's winding down. Tim had that topic last week, and I was thinking about that too. And man, it just seems like Ann and I went to the grocery store last night, and man, there's a lot of shelves empty. I was surprised. I just hope this thing doesn't wind up again and kick us again. I mean,
Oh, what we don't need is the media putting everybody into a frenzy.
Yeah.
You know, like saying, oh, the milks are gone and the toilet paper is out. I mean,
Good luck with that.
I know. I'm just saying.
I still never understood the toilet paper part.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
You know,
Seems like so easy to make.
Doesn't
it,
make
right?
any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you got to have the employees to make it too. So.
And that's the big thing right now, right? In our country.
Go ahead. I was listening just to, again, show you guys how really boring I am. I was listening to NPR as I was mowing yesterday, and they said the unemployment rate in Indiana is holding, and it's been at this number for a long time, right at 4%. So
what is normal for us? Is that high?
I think it's low.
I agree with that. Yeah.
It's lower than probably the national level, but I think once you get below 5, you're in pretty good shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the McDonald's in town here, they're only serving drinks and fries.
What?
Yeah, because they say they have no staff.
Yeah.
And everything in town is shutting down, the gas stations and stuff at 10 p.m. because they have no workers.
I find it interesting how they figure that, though.
I know,
right?
me
Because
too. I don't know if I believe it.
It seems like if I'd say, all right, how many people are unemployed? I would subtract that from how many people are looking to employ.
Right.
And then say that's the unemployment level. Because just because you're not working, that's by choice at that point. Because
right.
I mean, there's a difference if you live in a market where you literally can't find a job, like nobody is hiring, right? Because times are tough and people are cutting back. You know, what we would have seen in the late, I guess basically most of the 1930s through the Depression. I mean, people weren't hiring. That was legitimate unemployment because people were willing to work anywhere for any amount, basically. That's not the case now. People are choosing not to work. They're showing themselves as unemployed, but there are so many job opportunities, and a lot of times it's not even really about the money. I mean, it is about the money, but like maybe a particular job that they're looking for that pays a certain amount of money, they're passing over jobs that wouldn't require that skill set that they could get for that amount of money, but they just have no interest in doing that type of work.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
And to me, I think if you're looking at true unemployment numbers and say, okay, these people, quote unquote, say that they're looking for a job, which I think that's even debatable, that we need to also look at the number of people that are looking to hire.
Right.
And then we need to subtract those two numbers and say, okay, here's the true unemployment number. The true unemployment number is, less than 1% because there's actually slightly more people looking for a job than slightly above people that are trying to get people hired.
Do either of you know anybody that's not working or that is unemployed? I don't know anybody that's not working.
I don't. I think some lost their jobs during the original COVID, but they were able to bounce back.
I think that I know people that are not working, but they're also not actively, like they've got a spouse that's working, they're staying home.
Yeah.
But that's by choice, and they're not trying to get unemployment because of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like that they're saying that they're unemployed. They are purposely not working.
Yeah.
Which, and that's fine. It's just, I guess, more of my issues with somebody that says, I'm drawing this, free money from the government,
Yeah.
as long as I say that I'm still looking and, maybe I hire on a job for 2 weeks and then somehow, I'm back on the market again and now I'm looking for another job and, I just keep drawing money from the government. So
Yeah.
to me, that's more the issue. And I don't personally see that, but it's got to be out there. I mean, the numbers tell you it's there.
Yeah.
I agree that it's there. I just, in my head, I just can't think of anybody that I know personally that's not working or whatever. But to your point, Matty, it's also that should be looking or that should be, I do know some people that are stay-at-home moms and all that's fine. And I'm not trying to include those people, but I personally can't think of anybody that I know that isn't working or whatever. But I do know in all of my years of working, it's still a revolving door on people, every day coming into work and then quitting and coming into work and then quitting, which I still just don't understand. The job isn't the best damn job in the world, but fucking come to work every day.
Because you guys have had issues, right, with staffing a little bit.
And in all of my years of employment, and I'm sure the field that your guys in too, you guys have seen just constant turnover and stuff. And it's constant turnover with us. Just people with the mentality of, I just don't want to.
And if you know David B., if you want to find a way to get him riled up, have him talk about people and poor work ethic.
Oh my God. Yeah. So, no, let's not. Let's not.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah. See, I worked 12 hours a day and I spent probably 11 of them on the dock.
Ooh.
But to prove a point, I'm like, look, motherfuckers, just never mind.
Yeah. But boy. That's, there's unfortunately, I hate to say that you got to paint generalities, but there are people in, probably this country especially, that just don't have a work ethic for whatever reason. I don't know if it's how they were raised, or
I think that hits it right there,
or what. But it's just they're looking for help as opposed to trying to help themselves. Mm-hmm. And it's I don't know how bad it is, but I know it's out there, and these unemployment numbers tell you that. I mean, there's no. I mean, you said, do you know anybody that is actively unemployed? Well, no. But the other question is do you hardly know any company that's not hiring?
Amen. Yep.
I mean, everybody's hiring.
Exactly.
And it's not even, a particular industry. It's all industries are looking to hire. So to say that you can't find a job right now in this market, to me, tells you all you need to know. I mean, it would even if you were trying to wean people off the government handout, I would almost rather pay somebody like half of what the government's paying right now just for you to be employed.
I agree with you. I'm okay with that. If you want to suffice someone or give somebody $250, $300 to go back to work, I'm okay with that. It can't be $1,000 a week.
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
Back to work, and that to me, that would be a way that you could wean them off.
That's a good point.
Okay, give you $200 a week, but you got to get a job, right? Because this $1,000, it's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Yeah.
So I'll help you a little bit.
Yeah.
Go get that job. It's going to just help. It's going to help everybody that we, you're talking about the rest. What was it you say? It was McDonald's that's only doing fries and Cokes. Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, me and you could go in there.
I know.
And just self-serve ourselves.
Yeah.
Definitely be able to do the Coke.
Yeah.
And I've worked around hot grease before. I probably can.
I can flip
cook
some
my
burgers
fries and pour 100 pounds of salt that they do on them. I could probably do that too.
Yeah, I mean, 100 pounds of salt. That's what they.
But it's good. You ought to make that a list. We talked about lists. You ought to do lists on French fries.
Yes.
It's still hard to beat them.
That's a good list.
The hot McDonald's French fries are still, after all these years, hard to beat.
Pretty darn
They gotta be
good.
fresh though.
Yeah.
So when you're working the drive-through there, and somebody comes through and like, hey, can I get a large Diet Coke? And then all you have to say, would you like fries with that?
Because that's all we have.
Yes, because that's all we have.
No burgers.
So going back to the fry comment, and I don't know what kind of, I don't know, we're getting off on a tangent, which is fine. Wendy's are the worst fries.
Oh, yeah.
Worst fries.
You think so?
I think so.
I
can't think of it.
I think Burger King has the worst fries.
Okay.
Yeah, Burger King.
Burger King, but I get it and Wendy's just, I want to say recently, but that fry that they have is only about 2 or 3 years old.
Oh.
They had changed that because the Wendy's fries
horrible
now,
at one point,
they have
a
like a little bit of the skin is on them.
Not bad.
Yeah. But they had changed it from about 3 years ago, but I agree with you. It's not, I wouldn't have it anywhere near my top.
Yeah.
But
McDonald's would still be number one.
Yeah,
probably,
Burger King to me is they're really bad.
To me, White House is a close second.
You know what, man? I'm glad you mentioned that because those are good. Because those got the ripple.
Those are
fries.
Crinkle fries.
Those
Those
are
crinkle
good.
fries. Like they have it, and I'll tell you, Culver's has crinkle fries.
Culver's
really
has them
good.
too. Yeah. Man, that's a good topic.
Yeah,
we could talk about that.
Arby's has crinkle fries now.
Do
too,
they? I don't think I've ever
you
tried
gotta
theirs.
float alone to
Well,
eat
then
at
they have the
Arby's.
curly fries too,
Yeah.
which are a little
Yep.
bit different. Their curly fries are kind of similar. And have you ever had Rally's fries?
I don't think I have.
They're kind of like the curly fry from Arby's, except they're just regular straight fries. But it's almost like they have a batter like
Yeah.
cooked onto them or something. But they're not bad. But and how do you guys feel about the waffle fry from Chick-fil-A?
I've never eaten Chick-fil-A.
My daughter loves them.
I want to go on Sundays and they're not open.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm
Drives me
just
crazy.
joking. I'm only joking. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. However,
I always
don't take it the wrong way. I don't mean it the wrong way.
I always jokingly said you could go hoard it and buy all you want on Saturday and then go drive to Chick-fil-A's parking lot on Sunday and probably resell that stuff and people would show up, I bet. to
So
buy
Matty
it.
Ice, are they really good fries then?
No, they're okay.
Yeah,
They're okay.
Chicken sandwich is good.
Oh, they're everything that they've got that's chicken is best. I mean, their nuggets. Let's put it this way: I get a 30-pack of nuggets. when
Wow.
I go there. It's the only thing I get. I don't get fries or. Although, have you had their macaroni and cheese
I think I have
for a
not.
fast food restaurant?
Pretty good.
Their mac and cheese is exceptional.
Okay. Wow.
If you're debating if you're getting a meal and you're thinking of the fries or whatever, get the mac and cheese. If you like mac and cheese, it's good.
Okay, I love mac and cheese. But to me, mine's the best. But of course, that's me, though. That's my own
Well,
opinion.
we got to have that then.
Well,
sometime.
we'll have it at a tailgate. If you can get
You're tired of getting your ass beat by Davis on the guacamole.
Right.
Next year we'll do
Do-
mac
yeah.
and cheese contest.
Yeah.
That would
Cheese
be interesting
cook-off, it would
because
be.
there's a lot of different ways you can
Yeah.
make mac and cheese. So maybe just push Davis into some waters he's not familiar with.
Right.
I mean, how many
Go with
trophies
the-
you got to win,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
time to change it
the
up.
hell?
I mean,
Yeah.
he's
He's probably he's probably not sick. He's probably home right now counting his guac trophies.
Yeah.
Right,
You
yeah.
know?
1, 2. 1, 2. 1,
Two.
but
What?
2.
who doesn't like mac and cheese?
So little Ace, have him there, teaching him to count. We're going to
Yeah.
count to 2 today, Ace.
That's how you count the
One.
two. One trophy, two
2.
trophy.
Yes, yes. So there's a home marrying game today. If you guys are available, you're more than welcome to come down for the tailgate. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
brats and beers and stuff. First game. Normally it's chicken, but for today I'm going to do brats. So
How did your hamburgers go?
they went okay. They went okay. Yeah. So I still need to work on to me, I just don't have that awesome hamburger recipe. To me, it's always just, okay, I think I can do better than this.
If you're listening, you can go ahead when you subscribe, you hit the comments and give us a hamburger recipe
Yeah,
that
say,
you
hey,
might
Dave,
have,
this
or,
is,
or mac and cheese recipe.
I haven't done it, but I've thought about putting like bacon in a
Burger.
and putting it in a food processor and
Oh,
getting
really
it down.
grind it, yeah.
Really grind it down and then mix that in with the ground beef.
Yeah.
See what
That'd probably be
does.
pretty good.
It sounds really
Yeah,
good.
I think that would work.
You guys ready to get number 2?
Sure.
Let's do
All right,
it.
let's get into number 2. Let's get
Getting
after it.
hungry.
That's right.
There you go. Make me hungry. All right. So carrier rankings. I got a stats were from 2020 and 2021.
LTL carrier.
Yeah. LTL. Thanks you, David.
Based on what?
Based
I'm
on
sorry?
revenue.
Oh, just revenue.
Yeah, just revenue. No rankings on. There's some. We'll get to. I can get into that next show where that breaks down based on e-commerce. Their rankings, and it was shocking when I was reading it. And
Well-
I didn't put it all together yet, but
We both know that there's only one ranking of carriers that matters, and that is David B's ranking.
that's right.
And we ought to have, and maybe that could be a follow up, David, where you
could,
think
yes.
about it and you
Oh.
put
See if you agree to this. Yeah.
you put
like
the carriers
this
in
idea.
order, and you take in like different things like cost,
Yeah.
service, the account executive.
Yeah. There you go.
Right.
Yeah. No, you
Yes.
can leave that one out.
Yeah. Well, no. We're not leaving that one out.
All the things that go into your carrier preference,
Yes.
and then you can start ranking them.
And some of the account executives and their attendance on the Ship's Gonna Happen show.
Yeah. But I like that though, because I've always wanted to do like a random, like, let's really rank them and,
Right.
and just like
Sure.
have a customer like David call and do this and do all the things that we would do to rank them and then stack them
But
up
it
on
also
our own
would be
ranking.
nice to have another customer's rankings
Yeah.
also,
And bounce it
because
off.
there's no way they're the same.
Right.
No way.
So 2020 ranking, we'll go through just the top 10, I think. Here, well, let's go through the top 15 here.
Is there
top 15?
Are you not on the? What are you 14?
Oh, no, we're
Is that
on
why
there.
we're doing? I'm joking.
There-
I'm
I know.
joking.
There's like 31 of them on here. So number one is FedEx.
So we're not going to go worst to first or lower to higher. You're going to start
Well,
at
let's
the
go
top.
worst.
You want to go
Let's
Yeah.
go worst to first.
worst to first? Okay, let's start with number 17. Okay. Checking in at 17, 430 million in revenue is road. What did I say? 17. Yeah, Roadrunner Freight.
Roadrunner Transportation.
Yeah.
What was the
All right.
revenue again?
430 million.
In 2020, these are 2020
Yeah, this is
numbers
2020, and their numbers equal in revenue
For-
2021
so far.
so far. Yeah. So
How does that shit show keep going?
I have no idea, but it is going right.
Yeah,
Number
yeah.
16 is AAA Cooper.
Okay.
And they moved up to 15 in 2021. Pitt, Ohio checks in at 15. They moved up to 14 in 2021. They had 616 million revenue and 653 million revenue in 2021. So they got a little more revenue going. And then
They also have, is it Dorn?
Dorn
Yeah,
Transfer.
they're part of
Pitt, Ohio.
Right, Pitt, Ohio,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are. Yep. Yeah. Or you know what? That's a good point because they encompassed all that. Their west coast is west of Indiana is Dorn.
And I'm assuming that's tied into those numbers.
It's
is it
got to
not?
be. Yeah. When I looked it up, they were. So they were, and then TFI International checked in at 14, and then they jumped up to number 6 in 2021 with 3 billion revenue because
So
of UPS.
T-Force.
Yes.
you mean.
T-Force, yeah.
So, yeah.
So they jumped up with the purchase there at number 6. So then you got a super regional carrier that I think, man, they're holding at 13 in 2021 as well as Dayton Freight Lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, and then you got Central Transport at number 12 in 2020. They moved up to number 11 in 2021, gaining more revenue, 871 million. Averett bumped down from 11. They were 11 in 2020 and became 12th in 2021 with 823 million in revenue.
You ever see them at all? I know they're in Chicago, and I
No.
know they're.
I hardly ever see them.
No.
Yeah,
I thought they
think
were like-
Louisville. I don't. This don't have a presence here. In
I see their
Indianapolis area.
truckload. I mean, every now and again, I'll see something, but not really.
Yeah, so I don't see them much. And then you have a carrier that's really, I think, really worked hard to gain. You got number 10, Southeastern Freight Lines at 1.1 billion in revenue in 2020, and they're holding number 10 at 1.180 billion in 2021. Yeah, they've really climbed up over the years. So I've never really seen them around here. Do you? ever
No,
use them,
it's
David?
been a while. Southwest Freight Lines? Is that
Southeastern,
Southeastern?
yeah.
My bad. No.
I don't know if they go up to.
I don't think
Louisville
they
or Cincinnati.
stop somewhere, right?
Yeah, I know they go to Nashville, but I don't know that they go much farther. north
Heck,
than
if
that.
they moved up north, they might gain a little more.
The Connection's not on that list?
No,
Sorry. Just keep going. Sorry.
that's a good one.
Sorry.
Number 9, Saya.
Which is the Connection used to be.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's who they bought, yeah.
Yep.
So Saya's holding at 1.7 billion in 2020. Saya's in at 1.1 in 2021, holding it. I'm sorry, 1.8 billion. So they've gained over 100 million in revenue in
We still
2021.
have quite a bit of 2021 to go.
Yeah, we do.
So
I think, and then here's one that's increased their revenue too, but holding at the same level as R&L Carriers at number 8 in 2020 with 1.9 billion, and then 2021 1.973 billion. They got about 10 million more revenue so far in 2021. So, and then you got ABF Freight at number 7, and they're holding at number 7 again. And then 2020, Estes Express Lines was at 6. Estes Express Line now is in 2021 at number 5, with TFI being number 6, as we mentioned earlier. And then you've got Old Dominion holding strong in the number 4 position in 2020 and holding strong number 4 in 2021. And looks like they're on the heels of XPO Logistics in 2021.
So what's the revenue for OD?
OD, thank you. In 2020, it was $4.1 billion. In 2021, it's $4.05 billion.
So well, that makes sense because of COVID. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're holding strong. And then you've got XPO at number 3 at $4.8 billion. And then 2021, they've dipped a little bit, $4.4 billion. And then you've got the big yellow machine coming in at $4.8 billion in 2020 and holding at $4.5 billion in 2021. And I think I researched it, it's all their entities into it. So, and they've got it listed now as Yellow Corp, which is correct. So, and then you got the big FedEx at number 1 and at $7.2 billion, and then $7.2 billion in 2021. And that's even with their letters sent out telling people,
we're not going to do business
we're not
with
do
you
business
anymore.
with you. Yeah. And somehow they just
that's
keep going.
7.2. That's also including that's everything, right?
Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah, so that makes sense because
it's just the freight division.
Oh, that's just the freight division.
I looked into that. It's just freight. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then they are considerably larger.
I know.
They're
$3 billion.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like, because you look at your number 2, 3, and 4
light years away.
They're very close to each other.
They'd have to be a buyout.
They're with just a few hundred million apart.
Exactly.
Then you look at that, and then it's like almost a 50% growth.
Yeah.
And I've been off the street a little bit, but I even think about before I got off the street. I don't know where they're at. And maybe they just don't have a presence in the Indianapolis market as much, but it's got to be corporate business somewhere.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't see their presence.
I think when when I was working for Roadway and they were purchased, I know that Roadway had an executive, Dave Duncan, go to FedEx. And he really ran the gamut there, and he really increased. They bought American and all that, and he really increased their service. And he actually, if my story's right, had told Roadway they needed to split it into east-west and then retie the service back together instead of being a traditional 3, 4, 5 day carrier wasn't going to work for him. So Roadway was kind of like, whatever. And then he left to FedEx and he did it. He did exactly what that concept and kind of tied in. And I think FedEx has done a good job with getting the corporate accounts. I don't see them where I sell very, very often. I don't see them, but on the corporate, they're in every one of them.
Well, if you think about it, there's not much of a corporate. There's a lot. I should restate that. There is a ton of corporate business in the Indianapolis market, but it's not controlled.
Yeah, exactly.
Corporate business,
right?
Like,
What would you think it is? I think it's like probably 60% corporate. You think it's more or less?
It may be. Plainfield by itself.
Oh Lord,
Plainfield by itself.
That's got to be.
It's 80%. I think it's probably closer to 80.
Do you?
To be honest with you,
probably might be.
Freight just falls off a truck in Plainfield.
Yeah, and if let's put it this way, I think that, and probably not too many people that, if you're listening to this and not familiar with Indianapolis market, but that Plainfield Industrial Park, I think I had heard, and this was a couple of years ago, was like the 3rd largest industrial park in the
It probably is, yeah.
And if all of that business was controllable, it was all this every building you walked into, the person that was in charge controlled the business, negotiated the pricing. You could probably, honestly, just in that, I'm going to guess it's probably 6 miles by maybe 4 miles. I'm just throwing that out there. Square miles. Maybe it's not quite that wide.
I think you're right, though. It's huge.
Probably like 6 by 3. You could probably have 3 to 4 account executives just in that area because there is that much business. It's unreal. The amount of tonnage that goes in and out of that, just that industrial park daily has got to be in the hundreds of millions of pounds. I think every day.
I think, but I had the territory at Holland, and I can remember you could spend a whole day there on calling on local accounts, and then I had the account with another carrier, and it was like a 4 or 5 year difference. And I went in, and somebody had warned me, like, man, it's changed. Like, you will be hard to find it. And I was like, really? And I started driving around. A lot of them were bought out during when the economy went down.
Yep.
And it turned it, so I couldn't even really do a full day.
Yeah, there's not enough in that park.
It's crazy
To even validate. I would probably say if you could spend, half day in there. I mean, there's just a handful, like literally probably a handful of accounts.
There might be.
You may have some influence over some corporate business
Right,
that
that's what I was
you
gonna
can have
say.
some relationships, but you're not ultimately owning the pricing. In other
Right.
words, it's going to take somebody else's help beyond your own to get that business.
And then you'd have to fight with the corporate rep to maybe get local credit for it.
pricing
And sometimes
and-
they do that, but
the pricing and everything else. So it's so just that. And then you look at, down on the 65 corridor, whether it's a north Zionsville up to Lebanon, that's grown like crazy.
holy cow, yeah.
Even
That's
now,
David's
and even though I
territory.
don't want to get much down south, but even now from Greenwood working south
Yeah.
into Franklin and all the way down to Columbus.
Yeah, they all used to be.
It's all, and and now Mount Vernon, or not Mount Vernon, but Mount Comfort, where I live.
Same thing.
Its warehouses are going up left and right out there. So around that,
It's funny you mentioned Columbus, because I've had a lot of the territory in the state region that we're talking about, but you could go to Columbus back in the day, spend a whole day there, and man, it was great. It was a great place to call on. And then all of a sudden it's flipped like everything else, where it's just highly. Bloomington, the same thing.
Yep.
You go down to Bloomington, call on locals all day long, and it's just kind of sad that that's flipped like that. But I mean, it's the way of the world, I guess. So
it's made it. So I guess the point, I'm going back to FedEx, it could be a really big reason why you just don't see a whole lot of the account executives, because they may be just running a lot of support for all this corporate business. And if you're not soliciting those and you're not going in the door at those locations, I wouldn't see you, because I'm not going to waste my time walking in the door of those places.
And their reps, David, right? Aren't they ground too now?
Yes. Yep.
So when they call on you, how do they present themselves?
Both, just ground and LTL. So we don't use a lot of FedEx LTL occasionally, but there are ground carriers. So
okay, so it's the same rep calling on you and all that. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep, good guy, really good guy. Yep. So
So well, that wraps up. You guys got anything else you want to talk about the carriers there? Or?
no. So let's talk about the way I see those carriers.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's
that.
do 5. Let's just do the top 5.
Top 5, okay.
Let's do, if I can even pull 5 out of my ass anymore, because I'm not sure if I use 5. So let's go 5 to 1. And I'm basing this off of, the main thing I'll base this off of is like merit, mainly merit. There is pricing once pricing's established, but it's also, by merit, I mean how they take care of the account and stuff. I'll go 5. I'll go number 5, XPO, just to have a number 5 in there. We don't really give a whole lot of freight to XPO. I think it's a great dude and stuff, but they don't try as hard as they should to get freight, and really don't do a really good job to maintain it. Number 4, I hope people aren't listening. I'll go Pitt, Ohio on 4. I'll just go Pitt, Ohio on 4. We don't give them a whole lot anymore. We give them some, but not a whole lot. Number 3, 2, and 1 are too easy. Number 3 is R&L. They do a really good job of maintaining the account. Yeah. I've got a really good rep. Her and her husband and me and my wife, we all went out for dinner last night. It was a great time. They do an excellent job of maintaining the account, and they're right up on it. And number 2 is Estes. Estes does an outstanding job. We've grown with Estes over the last 12 months. They do a really good job taking care of the account on a daily basis and let me bitch at them when they don't do shit right. So, and then the number 1, which has been number 1 forever and a day, is what is now Yellow. Used to be Roadway, used to be YRC, used to be whatever, and that's just easy. They're there. You've
had them for a while.
Yeah, a simple text in the evening if I'm kind of inebriated and out somewhere. Hey, get me home. They'll do it, and just do a good job. Not necessarily. If I was new at this, and their transit times on the YRC side can be absolute shit on a daily basis, but it's nothing that I always say. This is nothing that beers won't resolve. So they do. YRC Yellow by far leaps and bounds is the number 1. So
nice. Well, it's good to hear it from a customer because it's where it really comes from.
But
right?
I think my perspective is not necessarily everybody's perspective. I don't think most people in my position would do it merit based or whatever.
Well, the thing that I like about you in your picks is, it goes back to the old school, right? It's like you gotta get the pricing in, you gotta get the service, and you gotta have a relationship, and that's what as reps we've always looked to do. And it's hard to find people like David today. It's really hard to, and we just discussed it with all the parks being flooded with corporate accounts and even some of their local accounts today. They just don't want to do a lot of that stuff anymore. So I appreciate you saying that because it's really reflective of kind of those that dig in and try to take care of the account.
I wish it was more of the way it used to be, but it is what it is. So
we talked about if David started a carrier, old school trucking.
Yeah,
old school
something
trucking.
like that. Yeah, old school trucking company or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I could see it working, but I don't know. It's just the way of the world anymore. I don't know if you could get. I mean, a lot of the people in my spot probably just aren't like me. They're probably just like, I don't want to be seen or what. I don't know. So, and I'm that way now. I don't want to, if I don't know you, I don't want to see you.
Yeah.
I only want to, and if I know you, I don't want to see you at work.
Right.
Let's briefly talk about shop at a bar stool and then deal with the rest of it or whatever. So
it's interesting, man, because a lot of the carriers too have cut down reps. Right. So the one we mentioned earlier, XPO, and they only have like 2 reps in the city now.
Yeah. So,
and they're taking a lot of those accounts and feeding them into inside sales. So,
Old school trucking.
Old school trucking.
Back when dispatchers would hand you your bills in one hand and some pills in the other. And you just follow the white line home.
Yes, exactly.
The old T cards, remember them? The old T cards. But, well, hey, that's great. Thank you guys for listening to number 2. We'll get into random thoughts. David B., hit us.
All right. So with this being the Labor Day weekend, my first random thought is for you guys, I know how hard all 3 of us work. Is this actually a relaxing weekend for you? Or what are your holiday weekend plans? Are you laboring? Are you enjoying your time off, or what's going on? What do you guys have planned for the Labor Day weekend?
Well, just like any other weekend, my weekend is determined by my wife. And she has not told me yet what we're doing. Now, I do know Sunday my kid has 2 baseball games. So that is...
How old is your kid?
He is 11. So he's a 6th grader, and he's playing fall ball.
Does he pitch?
He can. So because of... He had... he plays football. That's his main sport in the fall. And they have... practice. They only practice once a week, and it's on the night that we have football practice. So and then they had practice on Sundays, and he's only made 1 practice, and he hasn't played baseball in 2 years.
Okay.
So he played last Sunday, did real well. And so we'll see. They basically they're pitching about every kid on the team. So because usually in fall ball at that time, most of the kids that are playing are pretty serious about baseball. So I was I was a little worried about him after missing 2 years of it, but he took to it, and coach has him playing shortstop, which I thought was a pretty good sign. I said, well, you got to think somewhat highly of you, because they're not putting the worst fielder at shortstop.
I've coached a lot of baseball, and my best athlete was always at short.
Yeah, and he's a good athlete. But, I think, what I was worried more about was his hitting. So he had 2 walks, 1 hit, and 1 strikeout. So over 2 games. So wasn't too bad. I was okay with it, especially the kid he had a strikeout against I was like, wow, I don't even think I could throw that hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it was pretty impressive. And some of those kids were, 12, almost 13 years old too. So.
They combine them, right? 11 and 12 at that age. Yeah.
Yep. So
good stuff.
That we'll do that. I'm sure I will drink a lot. That's a normal weekend type deal.
Listen to some Dave Matthews.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, other people come to the house, and then my drinking is more acceptable, because then my wife actually starts drinking too. But I try to talk her into, say, hey, listen, like this weekend we're probably the weather can't be any better, right? Right. I mean, this is a 180 from last couple of weekends we've had, but I can probably actually start a fire this weekend, and so I always talk her into trying to go out to to sit around the fire, listen to music, and drink, and she's like, she's not that big on it. Now, if people come over, then she wants to do it, but I'll probably be out there solo, smoking a cigar and drinking, sipping some nice bourbon, and washing it down with probably half a case of beer.
There you go.
There you go. Well, what about you, Tony?
Probably it's our, the pool summer's winding down, and it's probably our last weekend to enjoy the pool, really, with the weather.
Is it not a heated pool?
It's heated.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you could probably push that all the way out to Halloween.
We push it actually to Jacob, my boy's birthday, which is in October, early October, and then we kind of shut it down after. I shut it down probably like in November. But man, I tell you get out of the pool when it's 88 degrees and that kind of weather, and we got a portable heater that I'll turn on, and so you can try off normally out there. But it's probably daughter's coming over for the weekend, so it'll be a pretty good. We'll probably just cook out on the griddle there, and just lay back and do a little swimming and do some cooking and do some drinking. So. But yeah, I'm pretty boring. I'm a pretty boring guy.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with being boring.
What about you, David?
Like I mentioned earlier, the first home Marion game is today, so we'll do that. Probably get the Jeep out maybe tomorrow and Monday, or maybe after the game, depending on my level of sobriety. And Sunday, probably definitely get the Jeep out and just do some stuff. That's really about it. Nothing much. Just, time off is so valuable and so few and far between. Right. So I'm just going to try to take advantage of it the best I can.
Because you never take vacations, really.
I do not. No. Yeah. No, I haven't taken a day yet this year. So
wow.
Not an ounce of time. So on my second one, we'll go ahead and talk about my second topic. Matty Ice kind of touched on it a little bit with what he's got going on. So my other one is like, if you have time this weekend and you don't have to go anywhere and you don't have to be somewhere and you're going to relax and kick back, what is that drink of choice? We'll let Matty Ice go first.
Well, I'm not picky overall. As you can see, I'm drinking a White Claw as we speak.
Saturday morning White Claw.
Yeah,
there we go.
So, and this one's not actually bad. The lime, I think, is the way to go probably for me, because I'm just not real big into a lot of the fruity stuff. Like, I don't know if you've had like Bud Light lime, but it's not bad.
I've had it.
But I mean, I guess my go-to is Miller Lite. Now, I love IPAs, but man, they get me in trouble pretty quick. Plus,
I know that feeling.
And so I like to have the longevity of the day, and So it doesn't matter what you put in front of me. If you're going to put water, Coors Light, Miller Lite, 12% IPA, or even wine, or even stepping it up to bourbon, I drink everything pretty much at the same speed. So if I'm going to drink it at the same speed, I gotta get that alcohol level down to where it's manageable, and I can keep up with Miller Lite. I can pretty much do that all day. So, but if we are switching in bourbon, I will be puking at some point if we don't switch it. So I just can't, because I just will drink it right down. I try to sip it, with like a cigar or something, but I still find
What bourbon do you drink?
I like weeded bourbons the most, and there's not a ton of them. And
do you just drink it straight on ice?
Well, I just drink it neat. I don't put it on ice or anything.
So can you name one just to kind of give everybody an idea?
Weller makes a lot of different ones. It's very hard to get your hand on. It's a Buffalo Trace brand. Anything by Buffalo Trace, whether it's Blanton's or Tom Handy, all
these.
Is that a
Kentucky bourbon, right?
Yeah, it's out of Frankfurt,
Indiana. No, I'm joking.
No, Kentucky.
Yeah,
Kentucky
there
bourbon.
we go.
And so that's hard to get your hands on. I like McKenna a lot.
I've never heard of that one. Wait, yeah, I never think I've seen that one.
Yeah, it's good. Mitchers is really good. That one's probably a go-to. I try not to spend more than $50-$60 a bottle.
Yeah,
if I can avoid it, because it can get ridiculously expensive, and especially anything out of Buffalo Trace. They have their collection, their heritage collection, and it's all hard to get your hands on.
Are they considered like one of the best bourbons? I don't know. I'm not a bourbon drinker.
And they've got a bunch of different brands that fall under that heritage. They have like Eagle Rare. It's really good. And Blanton's.
Like how much is a bottle of it, man?
Well, like Pappy falls underneath, that is also under that. And so, and I don't know how familiar you are with Pappy, but there's like 4 or 5 different types of, and that goes to like I think they've got a 15-year, or is it? Yeah, I think it's 15, but then they've got a 20 and a 23.
Holy cow.
And then they have a reserve, which is lower level than the 15. But the 23 and the 20, I don't know what it probably goes for retail. If you could actually buy it retail, which very few people can buy it retail because it's not going to be on a shelf anywhere. And it retails probably around $300 to $400, but you can't buy it. Number one, you're not going to be able to buy it that way.
Yeah.
You're going to have to buy it aftermarket, and it's not uncommon that runs between at its cheapest probably $2,500 and maybe as much as $5,000 for a bottle.
Holy cow!
Yeah, so you
I'm coming to your house.
You have to have some money, and Weller, which I mentioned, which is also done out of Buffalo Trace. It's a weeded bourbon. Pappy is a weeded bourbon. They say they're very similar, because Weller they do not. So like I think 12 years is the farthest they go with the Weller. I could be wrong on that. So anybody's listening to this and it's a real hardcore snob. I know it at a high level, so they're probably thinking, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Which is probably very possibly true, but that Weller is basically the same thing as that Pappy. And so it's cheaper, but even like this Weller that I'm telling you about, like the 12-year Weller, it's still over $100 retail. Wow. Again, you can't find it that way. And you're going to spend, over $1,000 for it. Mm-hmm. So I don't, very rarely am I able to get my hands on something. I've got a few Weller bottles that I was able to get my hands on, but it's not like the high level Weller, but it's still really good. But I guess that's it. I like that, but I also like vodka a lot too. Now vodka is just the opposite. I like it cold. So my preference on vodka is a martini. I love blue cheese olives.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
I'll
those
do,
are good.
a dirty martini with just vodka, and I'll just put an ice and pour a little bit of olive juice in there, shake that up. I won't serve it over ice. I just serve it, just in a martini glass, cold. And then I'll put should probably be putting 1 or 2 blue cheese olives, but I'll put like 4 in there.
Yep.
And so I really like that a lot. Those are probably my favorite, like more heavy alcohol drinks.
Definitely like the martini,
Nice,
dirty
yeah.
martini. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I can do a pretty good one too.
Tony B, what about you, brother?
Some guy I know got me hooked on Gumball Head, and so that's usually my go-to beer. And then I'll weaken it down maybe a little bit with some Coors Light, and then we'll usually do tequila. I like tequila. I'll drink some. We'll do a shot or 2 of that. I like it. And
You do margaritas?
yeah, my wife makes really good
I like
margaritas. Yeah,
I'm not too big on taking that tequila straight. I've had too many
I just drink
nightmares
it,
in my life with
shot
tequila.
glass it.
But I do like margaritas a lot.
So a tequila of what, Patron or?
Yeah, Patron's all I'll drink.
Oh yeah, that's smooth.
Yeah.
It's really smooth.
And usually just do a shot of it, and then I'll go to drink a Gumball, and then maybe later in the day I'll do another. I don't like slam them. I'll drink it slowly at one sitting, but don't do a chaser or anything with it. I kind of like it.
Not
The
doing
Patron.
the lime and the salt.
Nah, I don't do that. My daughter will, my wife will have to do all that, and I'm fine with that. But I wait for them to get ready, and then they'll do a little toast or something, and then we'll do it.
Or
But
the great scene out of Caddyshack when
Oh,
Chevy
yeah.
Chase is sitting at the piano and he has the shot and he's got the salt and he snorts the salt,
yeah.
throws the tequila over his shoulder and then drinks, and then he sucks on the lime.
What about you, David?
My level of consumption is kind of like Matty Ice, so I kind of drink everything at the same speed. So, which is not necessarily always good. I like early times and Coke, but if I make, which was like a lot of early times, a little bit of Coke, if I start to drinking on them like quick, they just go wham, I'll slam them down like really hard or whatever. But I don't drink those very often. It's just not Maker's Mark and Coke, like a double at the Great Divide or whatever. That always goes well.
Maker's Mark, man, that's a serious bourbon too.
Gumball Head, Coors Light. But I'm gonna tell you what. One thing though, that sitting in this with Matty Ice sitting in this room, if you're a Moscow Mule fan, there is no better.
Mule.
And I'm not
You've
just saying
mentioned that
this.
before.
I'm not just saying this because he's in the room. There is no better Moscow Mule than Matty Ice's Moscow Mule. It
You
is
told me that when you and I went downtown. You mentioned it.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot all about the mule. And thank you for that plug.
Yeah, no, it's legitimately true. I mean, and I remembered, and those, the way Matty Ice makes them, I mean, they go down good, they go down smooth, and they'll, without notice, bam, just bite you in the ass.
Yeah, it'll kick you in the head.
Yes.
And the thing is you really don't even taste the alcohol in it.
Right.
I mean, I got to try one. I'll have to try
yeah.
one.
I mean,
Dude,
if
so
you like
good.
if you like ginger ale,
Yeah,
I don't know if
I
you
do.
like ginger ale.
Yeah.
Then you'll like this, and he's right. It's got 2.5 shots of vodka just in the drink, and then so after about the 4th one, it's lights out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's got so many ice cubes that he uses, and the ginger beer and the lime. Is it lime? Right?
Yeah, lime. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so good. God, they're so
and
good.
it's a simple recipe, but it's really good.
Matty Ice's man cave, they make it even better too. So
Yeah,
it's
so
got
I
an
have
awesome
to
man
get
cave.
everybody over there. We can do a show from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't know. This looks like it's take you an hour just to set up.
Yeah, I don't
There
know about
has
that.
to be. I mean, if we YouTube it or whatever, and there a way we can live YouTube it and just shoot from the hip that way and not have to worry about just
Yeah.
wondering out loud. I mean,
You could YouTube it, but if we wanted it to be loaded back up on, you can still do that. We just need, that shotgun mic I sold. We'll need a shotgun mic to do it out of a camera. You can do it out of that camera I showed you.
but I'm just wondering, like the people we see on YouTube that have like holding the camera, have got a camera. Is there any way that and like we're And I know the sound wouldn't be like this, but if you're picking us up in the background where we're just talking to talk,
You could still do it. Yeah, absolutely.
Just thinking out loud.
We could, we could take one of these mics and then get a splitter that plugs into the phone. That's what some people do.
But let's say we're sitting around the Matty Ice bar and can't just a mic in the middle of the table or just
a shotgun mic,
or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I wish I would have kept that shotgun mic now because it was an awesome mic, but that was the one you were first using. And but they make cheap ones, and then we could use that Sennheiser that John used that I found. We could do that, absolutely.
Yeah, just wondering.
Yeah, we could do that right off the phone. Could do it. You can plug them in on the phone and do it, and then I could bring a light. Flip one of my lights on that I have, studio lights, and then I got 2 of them. We could set those up just to bring more, because you'd be amazed that you'll think it's bright, and then when you go to do all the edit and stuff, it gets darker. So you have to really get it bright.
We've got to have some background music going on. It's Matty Ice has got some good choices in music.
Yeah.
So just thinking out loud.
That's the other thing you mentioned about him the other time we were out was the David was trying, and he stumped me on a lot of songs that he was picking out. The Hall & Oates, man, that one.
It got too easy to stump you, so
it did. I couldn't remember. I heard them, just couldn't remember who did them.
It's funny you should say that. I was just thinking of you the other day, David, because I heard a song and I was like, I know that song. And then I had to look it up and I was like, man, I had no clue who this was. So, and now I forget it.
Dang it.
'Cause that's how it works.
Yes, that is.
That you run across a song and then I'm thinking, boy, this one, he's not going to get this one.
There was a time where I had a list on my phone of stuff that I was going to stump him with. And of course I don't have the list now, but I did make a list one time, and
yeah, he did.
Motherfucker got every goddamn. I was so mad.
Yeah, he had a couple there that get me stumped.
Son of a bitch.
I'll give you credit on that. You weren't an ofer.
Right.
I was an ofer.
I was one night I was ofer because I dug deep. I go, he's not going to get these. Nope, he got them. He sure did get them.
And the crazy thing is I worked at a radio station playing all that stuff, and I can't remember who the hell they were. I was just plugging in the tracks.
Yeah.
But
so, Matty Ice, do you have a random thought, or?
I've got a story.
Yeah,
if you're ready for story time again.
No, we need some intro. Hey,
hang on, let me get an intro for it. All right, let's do it. Matt, you ready for it?
Yeah, let's go. So this is a love story. All right. So this is another truck driver story, and as you know, that's pretty much what I come to the table with. So it's always hearsay, although this guy did have proof of this story. So anyway, this driver's telling me how when he was an owner operator, drove from LA to various parts of the United States. And so what he had was a side gig where he knew a guy in LA that bred pit bulls. And so this guy would be selling pit bulls around the United States, and he needed somebody to transport these pit bulls. Some of them were puppies, some of them weren't. So this driver did this. He would get paid if he was going to a market, he would call this guy and say, hey, I'm going to wherever next week. If you've got a dog that needs to go in a general vicinity, I'll take the dog with me in the cab of the truck, and then I'll deliver it, right, and pick up the money for you. And so he did this as like a side gig. So he's going to Detroit on one of these trips, and this guy takes a pit bull. Now this pit bull is like a year old, so it's not full grown, but it's pretty well grown.
Yeah.
And so he's going to Detroit, and he's in a bad neighborhood, and the next day is when he's going to make this drop off with this pit bull. So he pulls in somewhere where he can actually fit a truck in, and hops in the back of the truck and goes to bed. Just, normal stuff that truckers do when they're out on the road.
Yeah.
And so he's in this sleeper in the truck, and he hears a bang in the middle of the night on his door. So, he said, I'm in my underwear, so I got to get clothes on. And I go to the window, and I'm like looking in the mirror, and I don't see anybody. I open the door and hop out of the truck. And he's like, did I imagine that? Because I could have sworn I heard something. I mean, the dog got up too. So he walks around the truck. It's dead quiet, middle of the night. Nothing's going on. Goes back, gets in the truck, locks the truck, gets back in the sleeper part, takes his clothes all back off again. And like 15 minutes later, as he's just dozing back off to sleep, there's a knock again at the door. This time he's sure of it. But this time, because he doesn't want to get like fully all the way dressed, he kind of hops up quicker and he rolls down the window on the truck and he sticks his head out the window to see what that was, because he doesn't see anything initially. Yeah. So he's just going to stick his head out and kind of look both ways. And when he sticks his head out the window, a crowbar comes out of nowhere and launches him right in his mouth, right in his face.
Wow.
Knocks him out. He falls back into the truck. Now he's in the front seat of the truck. So he's kind of like laid out between the two seats, just completely sprawled out.
Wow.
He's out cold. So now what you have to, because he's the one telling the story, so he doesn't know what's happening during this story, but he comes to. When he comes to, what he's hearing is screaming. And
Pitbull got him.
The guy opened up the door of the truck, and when he opened up that door, that Pitbull jumped on this guy and actually got on this guy's face.
Ooh, true justice.
Bit on his, locked on his face underneath his eye and onto his jaw.
When they don't stop.
No.
It's karma, bitch.
And so he slowly kind of wakes up and realizes what's going on. He says, I am bloody mess. I can tell my teeth are missing.
Oh man.
Everything. He says, and I look down, and as I'm trying to get up, that guy's crowbar is laying right beside me because he must have dropped it when his dog jumped on his face. He said he picks up the crowbar, gets out of the truck, and as the dog's holding on him, he literally beats the shit out of this guy with his crowbar at the same time that this dog is locked on his face, and beats this guy unconscious with the crowbar.
All right.
So, two things. One, he goes to court. This guy tries to sue him.
Wow.
For
Imagine that. Yeah.
It gets thrown out, which is great. Right? Yep. That's justice. You shouldn't have been in trouble for that. The second thing is that the next morning he was supposed to deliver that dog.
He kept it.
He called the guy and said, I'm keeping this dog.
Yep.
Yeah. Good.
And he said he had that dog for like another 15 years before it finally passed away. Mm-hmm. But he said that there was no way he was going to let that dog go.
That's true love. Yeah. You're right,
so
man.
That was true a love story that the dog, for whatever reason, even though he had only known this dog for probably like 3 days driving across the country to get from LA to Detroit, obviously built enough relationship with his dog.
That's incredible.
Dog, when he opened that door, that dog jumped that guy. So, and then, and I'm like, wow, are you serious? And I said, well, your teeth look pretty good. So he pulls out, he's got false teeth, just like the front, like 6 teeth.
Yeah.
It's just like he pulls out his dentures to show you that, well, this is why I'm missing my teeth.
Yes. Wow.
But yeah, pretty incredible story. I can't imagine, because who knows I assume the guy was going to rob him, but you're talking about justice. Mm-hmm. And he said in that courtroom, he said this was months later. He said that guy's face was just jacked.
So got thrown out.
Yep.
Man, that's
where
beautiful.
that dog had been hanging on his face.
Wow. I'd like to have seen that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's one of those ones where you feel like justice has been served.
Yes. That is a true love story.
Yeah,
between a man and a dog, right?
Yeah,
that's good. I like that.
That runs deep. That's awesome.
That's incredible.
Good story. Good story.
Yeah, and the guy that got thrown out, right?
Yeah.
What a jerk.
Yeah. Can't believe it. But the guy had the balls to do all of that and that big of an asshole. Then it wouldn't be far fetched for that guy to also try to set a lawsuit against him.
Right.
So
yeah.
But yeah, that's my story.
It's a great story. Great story.
Great story.
Another great story with Matty.
Yeah, I love it when Matty sits in and tells us the stories. They're always good. Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Definitely.
Thank you. And thanks again for having me on.
Well, definitely, for sure. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for being on Ship's Gonna Happen podcast show. We are live on YouTube now. Smash that subscribe button. Is that how you say it?
Smash the like button. Smash the like button and click subscribe.
Yep.
Or at least we'll get the verbiage right, but that's what sounds right in my head.
Showing our age.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. We're not the techies that we probably should be, but
what do you mean? There's not a phone on the wall?
Just get on here and watch and listen to the show.
Yeah. That's basically
and give us some input, whether you like it or not, and listen to us. And critiques are also appreciated.
You're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast show. Happy Labor Day to all you people, all you truck drivers that make our products bring our products to our families and to businesses. Hope you all have a great Labor Day as well. David, I hope you have a great Labor Day weekend.
And the same to you guys. It's always a pleasure to do this.
Same as you guys.
Yeah. All right. This is the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast show. We are out. Have a good weekend.